It is October 13, 1972. We were 40 passengers and 5 crew members aboard a Uruguayan Fairchild crossing the skies toward Chile. We were young, raised near the sea, full of plans and the typical arrogance of 20-year-olds. There are those who call what happened a tragedy, others a miracle. But the truth dwells in the silence of the mountains. What happens when the world abandons us, when we have no clothes, no food, and the cold begins to devour our very souls? The past is what changes most, but the memory of the impact is static. Over the Andes, the plane began to shake. Fear replaced the rugby jokes. In a second, the metal tore apart. The Fairchild disintegrated, sliding down the slope like a projectile until it stopped on a desolate glacier. Night fell like an ambush. The temperature plummeted to 30 degrees below zero. If the accident did not kill us, the ice was ready to finish the job. On that first night, the living and the dead shared the same space in the fuselage, seeking a warmth that no longer existed. The next day, reality imposed itself. Marcelo, our captain, tried to organize the chaos. Roberto Canessa and Gustavo Zerbino, medical students, became doctors in a war zone. We improvised hammocks, cleaned the fuselage, and created rules. We made inventories of every chocolate and every drop of wine. But the mountain is an impossible place to live. We were the intruders there. On the 10th day, the small battery-powered radio dealt us the final blow. The search had been canceled. The world had declared us dead. Hunger became a physical, corrosive pain. The body began to consume itself. It was then that the unthinkable became the only way out. We discussed ethics, religion, and the right to live. Roberto and Nando were the first to understand. The protein needed to carry on was right there, preserved in the snow. We made a pact of blood and love. If I die, my body will be at the service of my friends so that they can return home. It was an act of desperate communion. The mountain, however, demanded more. On the 17th day, an avalanche buried the fuselage while we slept. 8 more friends died that night. We were trapped in a metal tomb under meters of snow for days. We dug with our hands to breathe. When we finally emerged to the surface, the scene was of a cruel beauty. The thaw began to reveal the bodies, and every day we lost a little more of our lives. I, Numa, saw my friends train for the impossible. I saw Roy try to fix the radio in the tail of the plane under unbearable cold. I saw Fito Strauch organize the hardest job of all, preparing the meat without names, without faces, to avoid madness. I tried to resist. I tried to be the moral compass, but my body failed. On December 11th, I left a note for them. There is no greater love than to give one's life for one's friends. I died so they would have the final impulse. Nando Parrado and Roberto Canessa set out on a final expedition to the west. They climbed 5,000-meter peaks without equipment, moved only by a determination that was not human. They walked for 10 days until the snow gave way to green. They found Sergio Catalan on the bank of a river. Nando's note crossed the current and sealed the end of our exile. On December 22, 1972, the sound of helicopters broke the silence of the glacier. 16 survivors returned. The reception was overwhelming, full of cameras and flashes, but they did not feel like heroes. They carried the weight of those who had been dead and came back. Looking back, they understood that the society of the snow was not about the miracle of one, but about the surrender of all. We were each other's world. My voice is now the echo of their story. Keep taking care of one another.